Chapter 31. Golden Light. The sun had risen, and Grey Close was bathed in golden light. There was dew on the ground, and an unearthly mist made the little row of bungalows look somehow magical. "Ah, well," said Granny with a sigh, "you'd better run home now, young Ben, before your parents wake up." "They don't care about me," said Ben. "Oh, yes, they do," said Granny, tentatively putting her arm round her grandson. "They just don't know how to show it. Maybe." Ben yawned the biggest yawn he had ever. Yawned in his life. "Gosh, I'm so tired. Tonight was amazing." "It was the most thrilling night of my life, Ben. I wouldn't have missed it for the world," said Granny, with a twinkling smile. She took a deep breath. Oh, the joy of being alive. Then her eyes filled with tears. "Are you all right, Granny?" said Ben softly. Granny hid her face from her grandson. "I'm fine, child. I really am." Her voice wavered with emotion as she spoke. Suddenly, Ben knew something was very wrong. "Granny, please, you can tell me." He held her hand in his. Her skin was soft but warm, fragile. "Well," said Granny hesitantly, "there is one other thing I lied to you about, dear." Ben had a sinking feeling. "What's that?" he asked, and he squeezed her hand reassuringly. "Well, the doctor gave me my test results last week, and I told you I was fine." "That was a lie. I'm not fine." Granny paused for a moment. "The truth is, I have cancer." "No, no," said Ben, with tears in his eyes. He'd heard about cancer, enough to know it could be deadly serious. "Just before you ran into him at the hospital, the doctor told me the cancer, well, it's very advanced." "How long have you got left?" spluttered Ben. "Did he say?" "He said I wouldn't make Christmas." Ben hugged his Granny as tight as he could, willing his body to share its life force with hers. Tears were running down his cheeks. It was so unfair. He'd only really got to know Granny in the last few weeks, and now he was going to lose her. "I don't want you to die." Granny looked at Ben for a moment. "None of us are going to live forever, my boy, but I hope you never forget me. You're boring old Granny." "You're not boring at all. You're a proper gangster. We very nearly stole the crown jewels, remember?" Granny chuckled. "Yes, but not a word of that to anyone, please. You could still get in a whole heap of trouble. It will have to remain our little secret." "And the Queen's," said Ben. "Oh yes, what a nice old dear she was." "I will never forget you, Granny," said Ben. "You will forever be in my heart." "That's the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me," said the old lady. "I love you so much, Granny." "I love you too, Ben, but you better be running along now." "I don't want to leave you. It's very sweet of you, dear, but if your mummy and daddy wake up and find you gone, they're going to be extremely worried about you." "They won't." "Oh, yes, they will. Now, Ben, please be a good boy." Ben reluctantly rose to his feet. He helped his Granny up off the step. Then he held her close, kissed her on the cheek. He didn't mind her hairy chin. In fact, he loved it. He loved the whistle of her hearing aid. He loved that she smelled of cabbage. And most of all, he loved that she blew off without even knowing it. He loved everything about her. "Goodbye," he said softly. "Goodbye, Ben."